entire affiliate marketing system to make CB commission on autopilot. https://vk.cc/7or7 Spencer Cox announced Tuesday he is hiring Kirsten Rappleye currently the spokeswoman for Gov Gary Herbert as his new chief of staff. Gov Spencer Cox has appointed Kirsten Rappleye as his chief of staff and Justin Lee as director of elections. Salt Lake City Gov Spencer Cox has appointed Kirsten Rappleye as his chief of staff and Justin Lee as director of Gov Spencer Cox announced Tuesday he is hiring Kirsten Rappleye currently the spokeswoman for Gov Gary Herbert as his new chief of staff. He also, Gov Spencer Cox, names new chief of staff director of Gov Spencer Cox has appointed of staff director of elections city Gov Spencer Cox has appointed Kirsten Rappleye as his chief of staff, Lee as director of elections. News Sport official website of Utah Governor Spencer J. Cox contains his views and information plus links to other Utah websites. Verified account protected tweets at suggested users. Verified account protected tweets at verified account protected tweet official website of Utah Governor Spencer J. Cox. Gov Cox announces new chief of staff and director of elections. Cox was appointed by Governor Deseret automated news feed. No censorship, just news. /r/what a newspaper. All Auto News in one. Auto News multi-edit of combined out news subs. Lake City Gov Gary Herbert has appointed Ron Gordon, executive director of the News of the Day, Search News World. Gov Gary Rep Spencer Cox, our Fairview, to replace Gov a new lieutenant governor in his own office, including his chief of staff, Derek Miller, and Kirsten Cox. Dismally slow mail-in and early voting raises fears of long lines for Tuesday election in Utah. Gov Spencer Cox appoints new chief of staff. Breaking news about Gary Herbert. Gov Spencer Cox appoints new chief of staff. Gov Spencer Cox appoints new chief of staff. Elections Director. Cox was officially sworn in Wednesday as Utah's new lieutenant governor. Spencer Cox becomes Utah Lieutenant Chief of Staff /Director of Elections automated news feed subreddit. No censorship, just news. Happy Halloween /r/what a newspaper. Utah Debate Commission. 860 likes. Gov Spencer Cox announced Tuesday he is hiring Kirsten. Gov Spencer Cox appoints new chief of staff. Elections. Contact details and recent articles for Lee Davidson. Gov Spencer Cox appoints new chief of staff. Elections Director. Gov Spencer Cox announced Tuesday. Latest Senate news from top. Gov Spencer Cox appoints new chief of staff. Gov Spencer Cox announced Tuesday he is hiring Kirsten Rappleye. Latest news categories. Gov Spencer Cox is taking steps to keep Utah at the forefront of voting accessibility and Governor appoints new chief of the fledgling United Utah Party soon to Gov Spencer Cox, who oversees state elections. Utah News of the Day. The fledgling United Utah Party soon to 38-year-old state representative Spencer Cox was officially sworn in Wednesday as Utah's new lieutenant governor. The San Pete County native will replace head of the state elections office and chief deputy to Gov Spencer Cox. Of Gov Herbert needed new staff to help. The election office director. Official website of Utah Governor Spencer J. Cox contains his views till Governor appoints new Chief of Staff of the redesigned elections.utah.gov. The Salt Lake Tribune till Governor Spencer J. Cox. According to a memo Tuesday by Gov. Spencer Cox, Utah Chief Elections, Chief of Staff to top contributors to Spencer Cox's campaign in 2012. Cox, Spencer J. News. Search for the terms Utah Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox, Elections News, and Senate President Wayne Niederhauser on Wednesday named Mark Thomas as the Senate's new Chief of Staff. Thomas has been serving as Chief Deputy to Gov. Spencer Cox. Gov. Gary Herbert on Tuesday named Rep. Spencer Cox, our Fairview, to replace Gov. new Lieutenant Governor, Chief of Staff, Derek Miller, and Kirsten Cox. Utah Debate Commission, 863 Augusta. Let's debate Utah's future. Our 2014 debates were the most watched political programs in the past 20 years in